his authority. All right, so she'll deliver the presentation for today. Just give me a minute, let her get her place. How about the shared presentation now? Where it's Are you able to see the screen? Is everyone able to see the screen? Am I muted?
Yes, miss, I'm seeing you.
Are you seeing the screen with the presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Presentation is not of us yet.
Oh, it's not off? All right.
Yes, I'm seeing the screen.
Okay. Ready? All right, Miss Fairclough is now here. She'll do the presentation.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm Karen Fairclough. I'll be doing the presentation for tilapia production in Jamaica. I have some of. Just spare me a minute, please. Let me make some correction under here. Everyone, can I get your TV? Sorry. All right, so I'll begin my presentation by giving you an introduction of what is aquaculture. So aquaculture is a rearing of aquatic animals or the cultivation of aquatic plants for food. And this can be done in a freshwater environment, brackish water, or it can be done in seawater. But with aquaculture mainly focusing on, it has to be done in a controlled environment. So if you're doing it in seawater, it has pH culture and pond system.
Miss, you're breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Yes.
Probably there's an internet issue. It's okay now?
Yes, I hear it clearly.
All right, so aquaculture, as I mentioned, aquaculture is the rearing of aquatic animals or the cultivation of aquatic plants. And this is done for food, and it can be cultured in a freshwater system, brackish water, or seawater. If you're doing it in seawater, it has to be done in cage culture. Freshwater or brackish water, you do it in a pond system. Okay? You hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you, but you're still breaking up a little.
I don't know what's wrong with the internet. Not sure. All right, so I'm going to give you a brief history of aquaculture in Jamaica. So tilapia was first introduced to Jamaica in the 1949 to 1950. And after the introduction of tilapia, a breeding program was created from the introduction. And the breeding program came from the breeding of tilapia mozambica. That was the first tilapia that was introduced to Jamaica. And the offspring from these fish, they were stocked in natural ponds and rivers across Jamaica. And in the 1976, with the aid of the US government and government of Jamaica, they started a project. And this project was designed to promote inland aquaculture in Jamaica, and hence the forming of the aquaculture unit. But then it was called Inland Fisheries Unit. So the following year, the government created the Inland Fisheries Unit in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture. And it consists of scientists from Jamaica, as well as a university student from Auburn University. And later in 1979, 15 subsistence farmers, they were formed from the introduction of aquaculture. And these subsistence farmers, what they did, they dug pond by hand, and they started aquaculture. So most of those ponds in those days, they were built manually. They didn't use no form of truck or anything like that. All right, so in the 1980, inland aquaculture, it was expanded. And then we had, when it just started, we had 15 farmers, and that 15 farmers increased to 28 farmers. And those 28 farmers, they had 38 ponds, and they were occupying approximately 35 acres. So as the year decrease the amount of farmers, they increase in tilapia production. Where in 1981, the total increased again to 43 farmers, and at 43 farmers, they had 91 ponds, and they increased the acreage in production. So the acreage increased to 79 acres. Then in 1982, the amount of the increase to 63 commercial farmers. Those 63 farmers, they started utilizing 143 acres and a total of 132 ponds. Now, presently in 2021, we have 104 farmers. Not this 2022, but 2021, sorry. We had 104 farmers, and those 104 farmers utilized 676 acres with 763 ponds. Presently in 2022, we have 115 farmers registered. All right, so we're going to look at tilapia production for the last 10 years. So in 2012, we had 5. I don't know what's happening here, but I'll just continue. In 2012, we had 518.5 metric ton of tilapia was produced. In 2013, that metric ton increased to 758.9 metric ton, and it keep on increasing up to 2014. In 2015, we had a slight decrease to 645 metric ton, and then it went up back up to 927 metric ton in 2016. In 2017, we had 1,091 metric ton of tilapia produced.
Why did it decrease, Miss?
In 2015, I can't answer that question, but I can answer the question up to 2017 when I started collecting data. Okay. So in 2012 to 2016, I wasn't the officer in charge of collecting data, but when it comes to 2007 onward, I can explain those questions to you. So in 2017, we had an increase to 1,091. 2018, it fell. In 2018, I would assume that we had a shortage with seed stock. Seed stock would be what the farmer would receive to grow the fish. In 2019, there was a shortage still with the seed stock. And And when
And
it approached
seed-
2020, we had
seed stock mean it's the fingerlings and the fries.
right. So it would have been the figure in the fries, and we had issue with feed. So it could be a factor with the seed stock, the feed. Farmer not getting enough feed to feed the fish, so the amount of fish that they stuck in the pond would recover as expected. But in 2020, we had an issue with COVID, so we had a reduction in the amount of fries produced and farmer producing and persons buying enough fish and stuff like that. The same thing went down to 2020, 2021. Hopefully for 2022, we are expecting an increase in tilapia production, because everything has been normalized right now, where farmers
So there's a demand for tilapia fish now.
There is a demand, so yes, and presently we have more farmers coming into tilapia production. But as we go along, you will get those information. So right now we have a demand in feed, person coming in, some more person coming in, and we want more feed to produce and more seed stock. So we have seed stock farmer coming in, producing seed stock. So as I said, hopefully by 2022, once data is collected, we will know if there's an increase in the amount of metric ton. But over the years, from 2016 to 2019, we had a fair enough increase. It's just a slight decrease that happened in 2018. And then a lot of persons look at for 2020 to 2021 is that Jamaica recovering from what we had experienced COVID and a lot of production slowing down. So I'm going to look at the tilapia production area. So St. Catherine, Clarendon, and St. Elizabeth, those three parishes are our main top producing parishes for tilapia production. We have Westmoreland, St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, and Hanover. Those parishes also produce tilapia, but they don't produce it as in high volume as St. Catherine, Clarendon, and St. Elizabeth. But St. Catherine would have areas that is high area of production would be like Lloyd Spend farmers. We have farmers in Bushy Park, Nightingale Grove, Old Harbour region. We have the Hill Run area that produce a high quantity of tilapia. We have Heartlands, Nollis, and Bogwag. For Clarendon, we look at Tollgate, and these information were correlated from 2021 data, not from 2022. Okay. So for Clarendon, we have areas like Tollgate, Osborne Store, and we have Longsdale Park, and that is just off Salt River Road. For St. Elizabeth, we look at Barton Isle, Wyers Falls, and we have Braze River. Those are the area that produces tilapia and a high metric ton. So you're getting like, for those areas, you might receive collectively from all farmers. For St. Catherine, you can receive like a 59.7 metric ton. For Clarendon, you're looking at roughly 49 metric ton. For St. Elizabeth, you're looking at 50 roughly metric ton from those farmers collectively. So the other parishes, they will give you like probably 7 metric ton, 2 metric ton. But all of those information will be correlated together, and we'll present those information to STATIN or other international bodies. So I'm going to look at the commercially important species of tilapia. So for tilapia belongs to the family Cichlidae, and it's a large family of tropical freshwater fish that have bilateral compressed body and exhibit very good parental care. Excuse me, 1 minute, please. All right, so sorry about that. So as I said, there are 3 important commercial species, and these 3, they are the Orichrome species. We have the Cerathodon, species and we have the tilapia species. For the Orichloma species, the female, they incubate the egg and fry orally. So the female does all of the parental care. For the Cerathodon, the male and the female incubate the eggs and the fry only orally. So the male and female do it. And for the tilapia species, what happens is that they just lay the egg in the nest and the parents, they guard and protect the eggs. So an example of the Orichloma species would be the Nile tilapia. The example of the Cerathodon would be the mango tilapia, and the tilapia species would be the red belly. All right, so the species that is cultured in Jamaica would be the Orichloma species. And I'm going to tell you about the first set of Orichloma species of fish that came to Jamaica, and those would be the Mozambica. A lot of people refer those as the African perch. And those were introduced to Jamaica in the 1949, and they came from St. Lucia. We have the second one that came to Jamaica is the silver tilapia, and they were introduced in 1976 by USAID and the government of Jamaica. And this was done through a project from the St. Albert University in Alabama. The third set that came to Jamaica was the Florida red, along with the hybrid tilapia. And those two species that were introduced in 1984, one from Florida and the other one came from Israel. And in 1985, the cherry red tilapia was introduced from Florida. And then from any other species that came into existence from 1986, those came from across between multiple tilapias, across to produce different hybrid. Somebody wrote that they're not seeing the PowerPoint. Is that still happening?
Yes, miss, not in the PowerPoint.
You're not seeing the PowerPoint?
No, miss, you're not seeing anything at all that you're telling us about.
Oh, all right, just give me a minute. Let me see what's happening. Are you seeing it now? Are you seeing it now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I thought Miss Matnisha had set that up. Sorry about that. And let me just check the chat again. I weren't seeing the PowerPoint. I thought you set it up. I don't set it up. What me share that? Yeah, that's the same. But you all understand about the different species that came in, right? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, any question about the different species that were introduced to Jamaica?
Yeah, but we didn't get any get any notes because
Oh, you weren't seeing?
no, we weren't seeing anything from the beginning.
Okay. So, okay. So you want me to run through over? So you could
Yeah, yes, miss.
Okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to start back from aquaculture. What is aquaculture, right? So you can just interact with me so we can know where we're at. So most of the time, it's kind of difficult for me to go and check like the chat room or something like that. So you can also indicate by communicating verbally. So aquaculture is the rearing of aquatic animal or the cultivation of aquatic plants for food. And this can be done in freshwater, brackish water, or it can be done in seawater. But if you're doing it in seawater, it has to be done in a cage culture system, right? Now, I'm going to tell you about the history of aquaculture in Jamaica. So tilapia was introduced to Jamaica between 1949 to 1950. And during the introduction, a breeding program was created from the introduction of the tilapia mozambica. The tilapia mozambica is the fish that they call the African perch, the black one. And the offspring from those fish, what they did, they stocked them in rivers and natural ponds. And that's what they did back in the 1950s. So in 1976, the government saw the need to create the inland fisheries. So what they did, they collaborate with the USAID and the government of Jamaica, and they started a project which was designed to promote inland fisheries in Jamaica. And in that following year, the government created Inland Fisheries Unit, now referred to as Aquaculture Branch, in the Ministry of Agriculture. And this it consists of local scientists from Jamaica and faculty members from Auburn University. Later in 1979, the 15 subsistence farmers were formed from the introduction of inland fisheries. And what this farmer did, they build pond and they build it manually. They build them by hand. And that's what they refer to them as subsistence farmer, because there will be small farmers that are probably small ponds that can hold probably 100 or 200 tilapias. We still have subsistence farmers in Jamaica, but we'll have those in like the further parishes such as St. Thomas or Portland or St. Mary. I remember for that year, when tilapia just started, we only started 15 of them. So later in the 1980, inland fisheries was expanded, and there was a total of 28 farmers with 38 ponds, totaling approximately 35 acres. But by the end of 1981, the number had increased to 43 farmers with 91 ponds, and they were utilizing 79 acres. So if we look at it, over the years, the acreage keep on increasing. Later on in the 1982, there were 63 commercial farmers in production, and they were utilizing 143 acres and a total of 132 ponds. Now, in 2021, last year, there were 104 farmers in production, and they were utilizing approximately 677 acres with 762 ponds. But presently in 2022, we have 115 farmers. So if you look at it over the years, tilapia has been, it decreased from, I think in 2006, we had a decrease in the number of farmers, but the farmers now they're gradually increasing, they're coming back into production. So we're going to look at production, tilapia production for the last 10 years. So in 2012, we had 518.5 metric tons. In 2013, 785.9, 2014, 698, 2015, 654.7, 2016, 927.6, 2017, 191. We had a decrease in 2018, and this decrease could have been because of water issue, feed stock, or feed availability, and the availability of seed to grow it in ponds. So in 2009, we had an increase back to 1,107 metric tons. We had a decrease in 2020 to 2021. And the contributing factor that we get from most farmers was that they weren't able to get seed or feed, and they had an issue with water. So tilapia production areas. So our main area for tilapia production that normally contribute to the highest metric ton of tilapia produced would be St. Catherine. Then we have Clarendon and St. Elizabeth. We also have Westmoreland, St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, and Hanover. In St. Catherine, our area of production are Lloyd's Pen, Bushy Park, Nightingale Grove, Old Harbour, Hill Run, Heartlands, and Knollys and Babwalk. Anyone know of these areas?
Yes, miss, I'm in the Bushy Park area and I'm
You're
near
in
to I'm near to Lightspen as well.
Okay, good. And you know that those areas are good tilapia area. You have a lot of ponds in those areas.
Yeah, man, Mr. Free of the biggest one down here in Bushy Park.
Mr. Free with about 69 or 69 probably increased. Because last year you had 69 acre of ponds down there. And he's one of the top producers for Bushy Park. So we have Clarendon. Anyone from Clarendon? No. So in Clarendon, we'll have Tollgate, Osborne Store, and Longzell Park. I remember we have new emerging farmer for 2022. This information, because I wanted a full data, this information was collected from 2021, right? So one of our large farmer will be in Longzell Park, and that's just off Salt River Road. And that farmer has approximately 61 acre of ponds down there. So when you're looking at tilapia, you're looking at big farmer, those are commercial farmers. And you look at St. Elizabeth, we have Barton L, we have Wyeth Fall and Braes River. Wyeth Fall contributing to approximately 13 acres and Braes River over 120 ponds. So we have Westmoreland, as I said, Westmoreland, St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, and Hanover. Those farmers, they'll be like small subsistence farmers, but we have a lot of them. And they also add up to the metric ton of tilapia that is produced yearly. And this, when you look at Hanover, we have a small farmer in that area, and it will be producing at least 2 metric ton. You may look at it as being small, but for him, 2 metric ton is a good amount where he can generate his revenue from as a small subsistence farmer. So we're moving on to the next slide. We're looking at the commercially important species. And commercially important species, those are species that they actually grow and they cultivate and they make a profit from them. And let me check my chat, 3%. Okay. All right, so commercially important species, tilapia belong to the family Cichlidae, and it's a large family of tropical freshwater fish, and they have bilateral compressed body and they exhibit parental care. And there are 3 commercially important species. We have the Oreoclomis species, and these include females that incubate their eggs orally. So the female are the one that actually care for the young, right? You have the Cerathodon species, and those are the male and the female. They incubate the egg together and the fry organ. So both parents care for the young.
Orally mean in their mouth.
Yeah, man. That's real. And you have the tilapia species. A lot of people refer to tilapia and they don't even know that there's a species out there that is called the tilapia species. So the tilapia species, what they do, they guard their eggs and they guard them in nests. So those set of fish, they don't incubate the eggs or the fry. They just protect them inside of the nest, right? All right, so the commercially important species that we have in Jamaica is the Oreoclomis species, right? So the Oreoclomis species, they consist of the African perch, which is the Oreoclomis mozambica. And those fish, they were introduced to Jamaica in the 1949, and they came from St. Lucia. We have the Oreoclomis niloticus. Those are the silver one. You know the silver one, right? So you should know the black one, the silver one, and the silver one, they were introduced in 1976. We have the Florida red. Those were introduced in 1984 from Florida. We have the hybrid tilapia, and those are introduced in 1984 from Israel. We have the cherry tilapia introduced in 1985, and those came from Florida. And we have the red hybrid tilapia, and those are multiple cross beyond 1986. So there are crosses between different Oriclomis species. All right. All right, so I'm going to tell about the life cycle of the tilapia. And this will be focusing on the Oriclomis species. Because remember, the Oriclomis species, those are the ones that we culture in Jamaica. So you can have the Oriclomis species, they can be the red one, the black one, the silver, the white. They are from the same family. All right, so when a mature female of the Oriclomis species, when she's ready to spawn, what she will do, she will visit the breeding arena or the lake. And the breeding arena, it consists of several males that have well-defended individual nests. So every fish, the fish out there, they create their own nest. So, and they will lead the female. Once they see the female making approach to come to the arena, they will lead them to the nest. So once courtship is completed, the female will lay her egg in the nest or the pit, while the male fertilizes the egg. The female then pick up the eggs in her mouth for brooding, and then she will leave the arena. So once the female is releasing her egg, the male will fertilize the eggs, right? And then she will pick up the eggs, pick up the eggs in her mouth and leave the arena. You get that, right? All right, so next slide. The life cycle of the tilapia continuing. So the female then incubate the eggs in her mouth. She will continue to brood the fish or the fry after hatching until the yolk sac is absorbed. You know the yolk sac, right? This is where the young fry, where they get the nutrients and stuff like that. So we'll have that sac for like 3 days.
It is on their body when they're born.
Right.
So that feed them until they reach a stage to feed for themselves.
That's correct, until they can fend for themselves. So during incubation and brooding, is normally accomplished within 1 to 2 weeks, and the newly fry are released into shallow water. The female will then resume feeding, which will allow for the maturation of her ovary. And after a further 2 to 4 weeks, she will be ready to spawn again, right? So if you're doing the hatchery production part of the tilapia,
How often do they spawn for the year?
All right, so remember I said they'll incubate for 1 to 2 weeks, right? And then after that, the rest develop the ovary for another 2 to 4 weeks. So they can spawn them like every month, roughly. But you have to rest these fish. So if you keep them up to 3 months, you have to rest them for, say, a month or thereabout. And then you put them back in the system again. But you don't just run them right through the year. You'll run down your production system. And so this slide just showing you what happened during breeding. As I mentioned before, the female, she will visit the breeding arena. The male will lead the female to the nest or site. The courtship consists of swimming around at the nest site and putting the genital tube of the female and causing her to induce, and she will lay the egg. The male is shedding sperms on the eggs while the female is taking them up in her mouth, right? The female then carry the eggs in her mouth and she leaves the arena. The young fry will move in and out of the mother's mouth. And this is done mainly for protection. Right? So if there's an issue and the fries they are out and they see the need to be protected, they will swim back in the mother mouth. So I can move on to the other slide now, right? All right, so now we're going to look at the variety of tilapia that are cultured presently in Jamaica. We're going to look at the variety of tilapias that are cultured in Jamaica from 2022 onward. So it may look probably from 2009 backward. So We have the Jamaica Red, we have the Rocky Mountain White, we have the Egyptian Nilotica, the Taiwanese Red, Sterling Red, and we have the Tilapia Mozambica. Those are the fish that you can find readily in Jamaica.
Miss,
Yeah.
could you give back the life cycle for the fish? Just 1 minute. I didn't get to take that one.
Okay. That's the slide you're talking, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
And
Yes,
and then my phone stuck again. That is the problem I have with that. I take in the picture, the phone just stuck, and then when it's supposed to come back on, it's not picking it up.
So
Okay.
you got it now, right?
Yes, yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
so I can move on now.
No, Miss Colette, can you just go back over that for me? I'm enjoying that part.
Miss Fairclough.
No.
Miss
this is-
Fairclough.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing that on the slide.
All right, so
sorry.
what do you want me to go back over now?
All of the slide that is on the screen, is it the breeding, the
You want
nest?
to know how the male lead the female to our
Yes,
nest? To his
I
nest?
like.
All right, so when the female, when she's ready, when her ovaries and everything is mature and she's ready to spawn, what she will do, she will visit the breeding arena, right? And when the male see this pretty female come in, he will lead her to his nest. So they go to the nest. The courtship consists of the male, of both fish swimming around the nest, with the male putting the genital tube of the female, and it causes her to induce laying of her egg. The male, once the female is laying the egg, the male will shed sperm or semen on the egg, while the female will take up the eggs in her mouth. So all of those eggs will be fertilized because the male is shedding the sperm all over it, right? So the female took up the eggs that were fertilized, and she keep them in her mouth and she incubated them. And she will keep them in her mouth for another 1 to 2 weeks for incubation. So the next step will be the female keeping the egg incubate the fry hatch, but she will keep on protecting her fries for another 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, until they fully absorb the yolk stock and they can defend or they can fend on their own, right? But if you're in a system, once a female releases the fry, you would have the operator at the farm would collect these fries at the edge of the pond each morning, and they'll put them in the lab for conditioning. So I'll just move on to the other slide now, right?
Okay.
We can move on now?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to look at the variety of tilapia that is cultured in Jamaica presently. And we can date it back to probably 2020. Yeah. So the ones that we have the Jamaica Red, and that has been in Jamaica from before I start working here. We have the Rocky Mountain White, but I'm going to give you some information on them. You have Egyptian Nilotica, you have the Taiwanese Red, the Sterling Red, and we also have the Tilapia Mozambica. So this picture is a picture of the Jamaica Red. So the Jamaica Red is among the earliest and most profitable fish farm in Jamaica. They were specially developed for the local condition. The Jamaica Red is a very hardy fish that can thrive well with and without aeration in man-made structures such as clay earthen pond, line earthen ponds, or concrete tanks. So you know that people grow tilapia in Jamaica, they grow them in clay pond that they dug and they compress it with tractors so that the pond don't leak. All right, so I realized probably some person was seeing the screen, so I started sharing it again. All right, so you know what are earthen ponds, right? Somebody can mute this sound, please. You know what are earthen ponds, right? Anyone don't know earthen pond? All right, so we have lime pond. Lime ponds are the ponds that they use plastic liners to line them. There are some black stuff. And you could get those liners from Isratech to buy. And you have concrete tanks where they just build the tanks out of concrete and they grow the fish. So that's a picture of the Jamaica Red. I'm going to show you a picture of the Rocky Mountain White. So the Rocky Mountain White, they were produced and developed in the United States of America. They can grow very large, up to 1 pound within 78 months. And this fish is considered to be a good fish for the fillet industry due to the size and the meat thickness. We can also market these fish as old fish also. And old fish are the one that you can get to buy at the fish market and stuff. But the fillet one is when they cut off the flesh off the bone and you get those in supermarket to buy. So you can take a look at the Rocky Mountain White. They tend to be white in color. So this is the Egyptian Nilotica. These are the silver one. And they are called the Nile tilapia or the Oreoclomis nilotica. And these fish, these are the ones that are cultured widely, worldwide. So a lot of countries, this is a species that they culture. They don't do the red one, they don't do the white one, they do the Nilotica. And the average time taken for the Nilotica to reach market size is between 6 to 7 months. And the Egyptian Nilotica, they are native to countries like Cameroon, Egypt, Gambia, Ghana, Libya, Mali, and Nigeria. However, they can be cultured in other countries or Caribbean countries, example, Jamaica. So if you go to the pan, you will see these two. These are dominant in Jamaica. You see them in pan system. So you may go and buy the Jamaica Red and you see a silver one inside of it. Now we're going to look at the Taiwanese Red. The Taiwanese Red, but I need you all to remember that the main tilapia that is cultured in Jamaica is the Jamaica Red, you know. These are just some additional species, additional variety that you can find, right? So the Taiwanese Red, they are light pink in color with a range of white and, red and white shades and a few black spots. These fish, they can reach market size between 300 to 400 grams. They can survive at temperature range between 15 degrees Celsius to 36 degrees Celsius. And the unique color is close to the Jamaica Red, making this variety accepted in the local market. Because we know that Jamaicans, they prefer the red fish. If they go by the fish market, they're gonna ask for the red snap or the red tilapia or the Jamaica Red. That's the one they like. So these one will blend in easily. Now we look at the sterling red. Right, so the sterling red, they can reach market size between 6 to 7 months. This fish has a fast growth rate and can acclimatize well to tropical conditions. Also, the unique color is close to the Jamaica Red, making this variety accepted in the local market. So this variety is a red fish also. And remember, all of these species are Oreoclomis species, right? They are all tilapia. Now we're going to look at the tilapia Mozambica. So the tilapia Mozambica, the difference with this one is that you'll find these in waterway like rivers across Jamaica. And you may encounter a few of them in ponds. But these fish normally, they escape from rivers into pond system where they lay the egg, and when farmer they are pumping water from river, it may end up in the pond. But they're accepted by some persons and local market people will buy it. But you'll find these species mostly in rivers. So the history, the Mozambica, as I said before, the Mozambica, they were the first set of fish that was brought into Jamaica in 1949, right? And they were brought to supply local community with readily available fish protein. So the tilapia Mozambica, they can be found in rivers across Jamaica and some can be found in commercial ponds. But as I said, many of them, they just escape in the pond. And they reach market at the same time like the tilapia, 6 to 7 months. And they are very hardy fish that can survive in harsh conditions. All right, so those are the 6 variety that we have and I spoke of. Is there any questions before I move on? So silence means everyone understands. So I'll just move on to the next slide. Okay. All right, so tilapia, size of tilapia operation in Jamaica, right? So aquaculture or tilapia production in Jamaica can be grouped into 3 categories. We have the small, we have the medium, and we have the large. So the small scale would be like people, farmers that occupy anywhere between 1 to 9 acres of ponds. So either they have 1 acre pond up to 9 acres of pond. The medium would be from 10 to 49 acres of ponds. And the large would be over 50 acres. So Mr. Free will be considered as a large farmer with over 50 acre of ponds, right? My friend in Bushy Park know this. All right, so we'll move on to the next slide. All right, so growth ponds. All right, so growth pond size, they vary. However, the most dominant one that is used in Jamaica would be the 1 acre. And with 1 acre, 1 acre pond, we normally start 1 acre pond with, right, this one. You all seen my slide? Anybody having issues with the slide? Okay. So growth pond, the growth pond size vary. However, 1 acre is more commonly found across Jamaica. Growth can be done in 2 phases. We can do it in 1 phase, single phase, or we can do it in 2 phases. Where for the 1 phase, a farmer would buy the fries from the hatchery. The hatchery will come and they'll stock the fries inside of the pond, and those fries will stay inside of the pond for additional 6 to 7 months. That's where they'll stay, grow until they're ready to be marketed. The 2 phase, this is where the farmer transfer the fish at 2 to 3 months after stocking. So what happens is that the hatchery, they buy the fish from the hatcheries, or the hatchery come with the fish, they stock it in the pond. The farmer feed the fish, and within 2 months or 3 months, what they will do a seed, and they will harvest, not harvest, but they will transfer. So say, for instance, they stock the 1 acre pond with 60,000, not 60, but 40,000, right? Or 30,000, make a correction. They start the 1 acre pond with 30,000 fish. And within 2 months, they have to do a transfer because those 30,000 fish won't be able to survive in the pond. Because for one, they will competing for space and oxygen. I remember most Jamaican systems, now they are semi-intensive. They don't use aeration or aerator. So they depend on the natural environment to provide enough oxygen inside of the tank. So within 2 months, they split the 30,000 and they'll put 15,000 in one pond and have the remainder in the other pond. So, and this is done because it gives them an idea of what the value of fish or the number of fish in the pond at 2 months. They go in the pond and they do a scene, and they're able to take out 15,000 and put it in, say they take out 15,000 out of pond A and put it in pond B. So they know for certain that after 2 months, they've actually got 15,000 fish out of this pond that they initially stocked with 30,000. They took out 15,000 and put it in another pond. So they know how much fish is in that pond, in the new pond that they stock. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so normally when farmers fries, they're sold between 1 to 5 grams. So when you go to the hatchery to purchase fry, the size that you're getting is 1 gram fish or 5 gram fish. And these fish, they're sold between $4 to $6. All right. And growth for those fish, they're approximately 6 to 7 months. And once the fish reach maturity at the end of 6 to 7 months, the expected weight per fish is 227 grams, 270 grams, or 340 grams. So the 270 grams will be half-pound fish. A lot of persons, they'll buy fish 2 to 1, two fish, which equal to 1 pound. That's what they want to buy. Some people want to buy 3/4 pound fish. Some people want a pound fish. So like the 340, from that figure up, they'll want those size. So they buy fish from half pound, 3/4 pound to a pound. And normally growth ponds in Jamaica, they're stocked at a semi-intensive rate. So we can stock here anywhere between 10 to 15,000 fish per acre. So if you have a 1 acre pond, which is 43,560 square feet, you stock that pond, we can stock here. If you're a new farmer, we tend to stock here at 10,000, 15,000, 12,000 or 15,000. So we can stock it between any of those figure, because ideally fish require a maximum of 5 square feet of space for good growth, or a minimum of 3 square feet. So the more space you give the fish, the faster they grow, right? Okay.
And the bigger they grow too.
And the bigger they grow fast, and because they have no space, they don't have anything competing with this. It's just thinking about it. You're in a minibus and the bus can only hold 20 and they want us to pack 30 persons inside of it. It's like grabbing you have this small amount of oxygen, you're not comfortable. So it's the same thing with the fish. The fish, they're not comfortable because the space that they get is limited and they can't get to move around properly or grow as fast as they wish. You're limiting the space. So ideally, it's best for you to give them correct spacing. So my next slide, I look at harvesting of tilapia. So for the harvesting of tilapia, fish are harvested at 6 months. However, some person may run up to 8 months. And some of the reason for this is that if the water quality is not good, if they are not feeding the fish as though the fish is supposed to be fed, the fish won't reach a market size in the specific time. So you have to feed the fish. You have to ensure that the water quality is okay, and all the factors that related to good farm management, a good aquaculture practice is maintained. So you want your fish to reach at 6 months, feed the fish, maintain your water quality. All right. Farm-raised fish or farm-raised tilapia larger than 227 grams, they are accepted by local customer. So a customer will go and buy a half-pound fish, where some will want bigger size fish. So tilapia, they are sold live at pond side, or you can buy from fish vendors. So the difference with this is that if you're buying directly from the farmer, you get these tilapia for like $450 per pound. If you're buying from fish vendors, they tend to sell it for like $600 to $650 per pound. Right? So it depends on where you go to purchase your fish. Now, I'm going to look at how we differentiate the meal. Well, this is actually my last slide. So you're going to look at how we differentiate the male from the female tilapia. Normally, what we do, we tend to turn the fish around and we look at the organ. So for the male, the one on my left would be the male, which, and this one will have a pointed, the sex organ at the bottom will be pointed, whereas for the female, it will be blunt. So the female don't show any form of pointedness, but the male does. So that's one of the ways to differentiate. Or for some other species, what they will do, they will turn the fish around and they will squeeze the fish. Like for some of the ornamental species, we'll look at them. We'll turn the fish around, we'll squeeze, and we'll see if the fish will really release eggs or semen. And for some of the other fish, like for ornamental, we look at the opercle to see if they have any form of bumps on it, or we look at the fins to see how the fins shape. So you have different aspects that we use to differentiate male fish from female fish. For some of them, For some of them, the female may be not as bright as the male. So those are some of the characteristics that we look at when we differentiate fish. So I'm going on my conclusion slide. So if you want to discuss anything or you want me to go over or explain anything, we can do that before I make my conclusion. If there's something that I said that you're not clear on, we can discuss. Hello? Is someone saying something?
Can you revisit the growth pond?
The growth?
Yes.
Can tell me the slide number, please? Are you the
20.
Slide 20. Yeah. All right, so for the growth, where exactly you gonna get? You want me to go over the entire slide?
Yes, let's go over everything.
All right, so the growth pond, normally in Jamaica, you have farmers that we have, it depends on your spacing, right? So if you have a 1 acre pond, we'll start that 1 acre pond with anywhere between 10 to 15,000. If your pond is not 1 acre, but your pond is a half acre, it would be anywhere between 5 to 7,500 fish that is stuck inside of that pond. Now, once you start the pond with the 15,000 fish, you'll keep those fish in the pond for an additional 6 to 7 months. Some person, what they do a single phase growth where the hatchery does stop the fish in the pond, and those fish will stay in the pond up to 7 months. And all you do, you sample your pond, you feed the pond, you maintain good water quality. And then at the end of the crop, you'll reap your pond to see how many fish you actually harvest. Now in the two phases when the hatchery stock your pond, the hatchery is the area where you buy the fish from, right? So the hatchery personnel come, they deliver the fish to you and they stock it in your pond. Now you keep that fish in the pond for 2 to 3 months, after which you can do a, hello?
I think somebody's mic is open.
All right, so yeah, man, just mute that person. All right, so the 2 phase, the hatchery will come, they will stock your pond, and then after 2 months, you, the farmer, and your worker will go into that pond, and you will do a partial harvest, a transfer. Now, once you do the transfer, you transfer at 2 months. So you start the pond with 30,000 fish, and you transfer 15,000 to a new pond. Now that new pond, you're sure of the amount of fish that you put in that new pond. So you take 30,000, you have 30,000 initially stock, and you transfer 15,000 to the new pond. So that new pond that you start the 15,000 in, it will take an additional 4 months to reach maturity. And the other pond, you know that you may left, say, an estimate of 12,000 or thereabout in a pond. So you know how much fish is in both ponds. And the 2 stage is kind of good. It's a good idea. At least you know how much fish you transfer at 2 months. So the fries, they are sold at hatcheries. So you get your fries from the hatcheries to buy anywhere between $4 to $6. So different hatcheries sell at different price. So you may buy fish from the government hatchery at a particular price, and you may buy fries at the private hatchery at a particular price. But both all are the same. The fish, they normally take approximately 6 to 7 months to reach maturity or to reach harvest weight. And the expected weight at maturity is anywhere between 227 grams, 270 grams, up to 340 grams. So you can look at half pound, 3/4 pound, or a pound. Growth ponds in Jamaica, they are stocked at semi-intensive rate, anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000 per acre. And remember, a 1 acre pond is 43,560 square feet. So you could have length being 150 square feet and width being 283 square feet. So it's length times width. Give you the measurement for a 1 acre pond. Ponds, they're normally dug at 6 feet. So 5 feet at the shallow end and 6 feet at the deep end. And you fill them at up to 5.5 feet. That's where you normally fill them. Normally get your water from NIC. The NIC water may run you up to $3,000 per acre foot. Okay. So the person who asked me to go over that slide, it is clear now? Marva? Oh, Marva gone? Okay. All right, so I went through harvesting. I differentiate the male from the female. And I'm going to give you the conclusion. So tilapia production is a growing business in Jamaica, and statistics indicate that more and more individuals are re-emerging or starting up new business in tilapia production. Where in 2012, we showed you that record indicated that we produced 518 metric ton 0.5. Up to 2021, we have 911 metric ton. Even though you saw some decline, it wasn't as significant as 2012, where we had 518. We still have a little increase, and we have reason why we have those decline over those short period. And we also shows that in 2019 that there were 69 registered farmers. No, I didn't show you that, but there were 69 registered farmers, and by 2021 there were 104 registered farmers. So tilapia production continues to expand in Jamaica, and the aim of this is to see more households being able to afford readily available protein at cheaper price. So that was one of the intention of when tilapia was introduced to Jamaica back in 1949, where they want rural communities to have a protein that they could go to the river and harvest. And it is still the same concept. It's just that now people, they are doing it as a business, but the protein level, it is much cheaper. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Is there any questions? Is there any questions?
How we go about registering to be a part of the fish farming?
All right, so in terms of registering as an aquaculture farmer, so you register for ornament, you register for as ornamental aquaculture, you have to be active. So somebody have to come to your location and verify that you're actually a farmer. And once that is done, we invite you to come to the National Fisheries Authority. I will do the paperwork. We come in, we write up the form, you come with your ID, and you just fill out the form and everything is verified and sent off. And also you need 2 passports, 1 passport size picture, certified by a JP. And there's a cost of $600, just $600 process.
So is there any benefit when we register?
Yes, there's benefit, but the benefit don't come like that. If it just have to, the need have to arise. Where, for instance, when there was COVID, when the government was assisting farmers in terms of COVID, when they had flood in Eastern. But one of the services that we offer is we offer extension service, where we assist the farmer in terms of adjusting the feed and ensure that the crop come out to as they wish or expected. But you get extension service. But the benefit is, if you're a registered farmer and if there's anything that is out there, at least you're in the system and we know that you're an active farmer. If you're not registered, there's no coverage or benefit for you. Any other question? Hello?
Miss McNish. It's not Miss McNish.
No, this is not Miss McNish. This is Carol.
Co-worker. You mentioned something about the different type of waters that the fishes can be grown in. Which water would you consider to be the murky water?
Murky water?
The pond, the tank?
There's murky. All right. So murky water is if you don't maintain your pond system. Yes, I'm hearing you. But the murky water that you speak of, that is water if you don't maintain your system. If you don't maintain your pond system. And that's not healthy. So if you realize that your pond is murky, you need to flush that pond because the fish, they will not survive well in that water condition.
Okay.
So once you encounter a murky pond, you just have to flush that pond.
Okay.
But the three water that I mentioned was fresh water, brackish water, and salt
Once
water.
it has too much algae in it.
Algae. If there's too much algae, I recommend
sometimes
flushing.
the water tends to turn a greenish color.
Greenish.
Some ponds I see have the weeds growing closer to the end.
Or you may see aquatic weed. So with aquatic weed, we encourage persons to manually remove those showers from the pond. So you start removing them before it becomes a problematic figure. So once you see those coming up, you start removing them manually. Okay, somebody hand is up. Randy?
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Could you repeat I missed the point you're making about registration. Is it a separate registration than your RADA registration, or is it?
Right, it's separate from RADA. So if you register the RADA, and if you're a fish farmer, you need to register with fisheries. And in order for you to register, you'd have to call the branch. Someone would have to come and verify your location, just like our RADA would verify. We'll come and verify location to make sure that you're an actual fish farmer. Once you make a verification, we invite you to come into office. You pay a fee of $600 plus 2 passport size picture certified by a JP, and there's also an ID identification card, and I will fill out the paperwork for you.
Okay, so this is what I've just heard you describe. You're describing the wannabe farmer or an existing farmer.
All right, so how should I say? All right, so existing farmer, they will re-register because registration is yearly. So if you mentioned a wannabe farmer, all right, so
which would be me. So I'll be a wannabe.
In my understanding, if you're an active farmer, you just come into business, right? Start your production, you build your pond. So you know that you're a farmer. So you start your ponds, right? Your ponds are built, dug. Say for instance, we'll have to come and register you. So you'll be you start the process.
Okay, so I'm thinking now of for an institution, a school that is interested in doing this. Can we register first, or we have to initiate a project first?
Right.
We have to initiate first.
Right. And we do register institution, but because say for instance we register mustard seed is an institution, but like we have the contact person. So the contact person would be the person who is actually on the farm that we can liaison with.
Okay. Good. All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, another from me.
Okay.
Are there any projects, funded projects at the fisheries department? You're collaborating with any granting agency that individuals and or organizations can seek to benefit from?
You see, Mr. Finnekin, I'm unable to answer that question. I don't know if there's anything being initiated by my directors.
Yes.
So, which I'm not aware of. But for now, I don't think I can answer that question. I have to liaison with my director to find out if there's any changes or thing like that. But maybe you can probably call the office on a one-on-one, and we speak about that when I get confirmation from my directors.
Okay. All right. So Yeah, we'll call because clearly we are interesting as an institution.
Yeah, because I don't want to say on public media to say yes, there's something when probably there's nothing, and I don't want to say no when there may be something and I'm not aware of it. So I think it's best for us to probably talk about that one-on-one with my director to find out if there's anything available.
Okay. Would it be prudent for you to put your director's number in the chat?
Yeah, I'd have to liaison with her for that.
Okay.
Miss Matney? All right. Or you can call the office.
Call
the office number. Yeah,
Yeah.
call the office and then we'll direct you. But I'll
Lovely.
just put the office number in the chat. Is that
That's
okay?
Oh, that is fine. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll just put the office number in.
Appreciate that.
Sure. Okay, so I put my office number, NFA, vote numbers. Let me put my contact number. That's okay?
Oh, yeah.
Will my contact number work for you?
Oh, yes. And that's the Fisheries Authority, NFA.
National Fisheries Authority.
That's a new name, or that's a
That's
name
our
that
new name.
new
Our
name,
name
or is it?
was, right, because we're an authority now, our new name is the National Fisheries Authority Aquaculture Division. We're aquaculture branch now, we're aquaculture division. So we're moving from inland fisheries unit, aquaculture division, aquaculture branch to aquaculture division under the National Fisheries Authority. So I put my telephone number and my name in the chat.
Oh, so that was a soft launch. First I'm hearing about it.
No, we actually came to National Fisheries Authority in around 2018 when the bill was passed. So that's when we start transition from aquaculture to National Fisheries Authority. So we'll be I don't remember the term, sorry about that. What's the term? We'll be a statutory body.
Oh boy, that sounds like trouble. That sounds like we're not gonna get you as readily as we get you now. You're gonna get into some posh office somewhere.
Come on, remember no, you get me. You got to with us when we were the National Fisheries Authority, so you still get to with us as a National Fisheries Authority.
That's quite reassuring.
Right. But I'm hoping that you all understand and appreciate tilapia farming more, and I was able to enlighten the group as to what tilapia is and how to go about it. If there's any other question, if there's no more question, we can probably break. So that's it for the group.
Sorry, Madam Faircloth, are we going to be getting the video?
I'd have to liaison with Miss Martin, with 4H, you know.
All right.
So, yeah. So I'll liaison through Miss Martinish to the 4H rep.
Okay, no problem.
I'm just doing the presentation for tilapia, but after this liaison. I'm not okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right then, bye everyone.
Okay.
Goodbye, and thank you so much for your time.
All right, so I'll just hand over back to Ms. McNeish.
Thanks.
Hi, good
Okay,
afternoon.
thank you very
Good
much.
afternoon again. It's afternoon over here, everyone. So this complete the presentation for today. I know it was a lot. I'm not quite sure if the storage would be the videos available, but they let you know. So we look
Okay.
forward to the next presentation.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, Ms. McNeish.
Yes,
The videos, I want to say to everyone that you can access the information on this training as well on YouTube. But for persons who would want to get copies of the PowerPoints, that could be arranged. But they can also access on YouTube because this training is also being shared on YouTube. With regards to the next session coming up, Ms. McNeish, we will have to talk at the scheduled time. But based on our discussion earlier, I'll speak back with you so that we can have a confirmation to send out the link in time for persons to prepare. All right. So thank you for taking the time out to share with us. Thank you. It was very informative, educational presentation. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Information, some of which I learned something new, definitely. And I look forward to working with you going forward because, as you know, and Mr. Finnegan, thank you for those questions you asked. We are working collaboratively. So as we move forward, there will be more discussion in terms of the organizational development projects. All right. So thanks again, Ms. McNeish and Ms. Fairclough. Really appreciate your time and effort.
Bye.
To the members on the platform, thank you for joining. For those who missed out on today, I've really missed some very, very, very good information, but we will try to reach out to them for the next session because this is a master level training course. So we have about 2 more sessions, Ms. McNeish, but we confirm the date for the other 2 sessions.
Yes.
All right. So thanks again, everyone. Thank you for being here, and you certainly will be hearing from us. Look out in your WhatsApp group, the groups that you're in. We'll be sending all the information as soon as we are confirmed. All right. Thank you all. And forward to continuing our efforts to make the best better. So if you have concerns or if you have any questions, you can share them with us here at the office, and we see how best we can improve on the products that we present.